Everybody, welcome to our C++ and we'll do a quick revision of what we mentioned about variables and this thing called a CMIN statement. So I'm going to open up our online editor, and there's my online editor, and now I'm going to paste in my program that says inputs age and displays it with a message. So if you look at it, it says in line number 10, include IO stream. Line 11, using namespace std. Number 12, it says int main. Let's click on the beautify button on the top. Beautify. And let's make it look pretty. It's busy working. And then in number 15, it says enter your age, C out. That says console out. Now in line number 15 is where we declare a variable called age. Age is a container. It stores the value that we will input in line number 17, where it says CIN. So it says, give me an input from the console. Give me an input of age. In line number 18, it says C out. That means display on the console the value that is stored in the variable called age. And then it simply displays is a great age to be. All right. And our famous line END, which is end line. So let me run the program. Click on the green button, run the program, compiling. And now it says, enter your age. Would anybody like to give me their age, please? Unmute yourself. Hello, unmute yourself. Come on, give me an age there. Okay, I'm going to say I'm 21 years old. And then it says 21 is a great age to be. Yay, I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that? So that was the simple program to input a person's age. Then I had asked you, and I said, listen, we don't just want to have the age, I also want to be able to display the calculation, some calculation that takes place. All right, a calculation that takes place. And the question we came up with was where it'll enter your mom's age. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to now share the question. So the question says, in this program, we see that variables and numbers can be used together. And here it is, it says, calculate your mother's age when you were born. In this program, I have two variables. I have your mom's age and I have your age declared as variables. Now, I need to enter those values in. And in order to do that, I'm using a variable called mom's age and your age. Now, I simply output the statement your mom's age was by calculating it by saying your mom's age subtract your age. So if your mom was 50 years old, if your mom is 50 years and you are now 20 years, so 50 minus 20, you were born, your mother was 30 years old. So let me go and run this program in my compiler. Now all this is in your MS Teams resources. I am going to now share my screen, and I'm going to share my compiler. Right, so let me share this compiler with you. Let me share, where's my screen? There it is. So I'm moving up, I'm deleting all my previous work. So now let's read the program. It says in line number 9, it's a comment statement. This would be ignored by the compiler, just like all the lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is ignored by the compiler. Right? It's ignored by the compiler, and the reason it's ignored is because it's a comment statement. Then I look at line number 14. I'm declaring two variables, and the variables that I'm declaring is mom's age and your age. All right. Let's go and compile the program. So I want to run the program. This is how you learn programming as well. You take somebody else's work. It's not really copying, but you need to find out how and what is going on in this program. So let's run the program. Compiles. And now the question that pops up is, enter your mom's age and your age. So I'm going to enter in 50, which is the mom's age. And I'm going to enter in your age, which is you are 20 years old. So it says your mom was 30 when you were born. Haha. Right? Now let's go and put that in our WhatsApp group. Right, let's put that in our WhatsApp group. So we have the program and we have the code. Right, so let's put that in our group. So there's the program. And our output. Here's my output in the bottom. So let's see what happened here. It says in line number 15 is where I had a variable declaration. In line number 16 is where I requested input from the user, 16 and 17. In line number 18 is where I declare, oops, what has happened to my code? My code just disappeared from the screen. Let me get my code back. Right, so in line number where am I now? I'm in line number, let me just correct that. In line number 14, let's go through that again. Line number 14, I'm declaring my variables. In line number 15 and 16, this is not right. Just create a new file and call it all right. So sorry about that. I don't know what's happening with my compiler. It seems to be rushing away. Let's just run this program. Compiling. Okay, if this happens again, let's just start afresh. Leave alone. Okay, I'm there. Let's go to C++ programming. Yay, it's working. So this basically gives you the structure of a C++ program. In fact, most programs, in fact, all that I know of, works like this. So you'll have input statement, you'll have some computation taking place, and you'll have an output statement, which is what we see in everyday life. If you have to put petrol into the car, you're going to get combustion with the petrol in the engine, and the output is going to be where the car will move. That's input, processing, and output. Now this program, I'm going to save it in our WhatsApp group, and you'd be able to access that. Right? Let's go through another program. I'm just, before I give you an assignment or something to work on, I need you to have some programming statements under your belt. Basically, you need to be able to see some programming statements and try it out. Let's look at another program. This time, I would like to determine the quotient of two numbers. Let's look at the program. It says, calculates and displays the quotient of two numbers. In your study guide, it is on page, I'll give you the study guide page, page 27. Page 27. I think I should put that into our WhatsApp group as well. All right, I'll attach that for you. And it's a document. Let's attach the study guide. So you can follow on your cell phone, or you can print the study guide and you can have a look at what's going on there, right? So while that's busy, let's go through this program. It says, calculates and displays the quotient of two numbers. Now that's a comment statement. In line number 10, again, include IO stream. We'll come back to this, what it's all about. Let's look at line number 11. It says using namespace standard. We'll come back to that. Int main, there's my main program. Int mn. M and n are variables. Int says it's an integer. So I've been declaring my m and n to be containers, and I'm telling the compiler and I'm telling the user that I am going to be storing values that are integers in there. In line number 16, it's a cout statement. So I'm requesting from the user, please enter in two numbers. I think we should be polite, right? So let's say please. Please enter two numbers. C in m and n. So I'm entering in m and I'm entering in the value of n. Now I could have done it in like this, or I could have separated it. All right, I could have asked for one value, and then I could have said C in n. So I'm now putting that in two separate lines. And my statement in line number 19 says the quotient of m and n, m divided by n. If you remember a couple lessons ago when I was talking to you about variables, we multiplied two variables, we added two variables, and we even divided two variables. So let's run this program. Let's run the program and see what happens. Let's run the program. Compiling, compiling, compiling. And it says there's an error. Oops. The error says in line number 16, oops, I spelled it incorrectly. E count, it's cout. Let's run the program again. Compiling, compiling, compiling. Yay! Please enter two numbers. So I'm going to enter in 5, let's say 10 and 2. Quotient of 10 and 2 is 5. That's perfectly correct because 10 divided by 2 is 5. Let's run the program again. This time, let's enter in 11 and 2. The quotient of 11 and 2 is 5. So 11 divided by 2 is 5, remainder 1. It actually ignores the remainder. I ignore the remainder. I don't worry about the remainder because this is integer division. This slash out here says that it's integer division. If I wanted to include the remainder, then I would have had to change the word int to something else. All right, I'm going to come back to that. So I think I should post this in our WhatsApp group because I just checked and I noticed that some of you are actually looking at the WhatsApp group and you're looking at the pictures. Right, so there's my picture there. Right, so let's put the picture in there in my WhatsApp group. And right, let's put the program as well. Right, so there's my program, calculates and displays the quotient of two numbers. Now, when you are trying to learn programming, what you should do is you should actually go and play around with changing the words M and N. I can put down my initials. I'm TP Governor. So I'm going to put down T and I'm going to put down P. So that says enter in T and enter in P. So wherever I have M, T, and P is T divided by P. All right, let's run this program. Can you see it's just a container? That's what a variable is all about. So let's try 12 and 3. We know the answer. 12 divided by 3 is 4. The quotient of 12 and 3 is 4. So I'm not really interested in what my variable names are. All I'm interested in is whether I get the correct answer. And the correct answer that I'm getting is 4. So T and P are my initials, but I also mentioned that T and P are variables. They are special kind of variables. They are integers. Right, I'll pause a little. What questions do I have from you? Anybody with a question? Oh, let me check the chat box. Anyone with a question out here? Anybody with a question? Hello, hello, hello. What questions do you have for me? Raise your hand. Can you add more than 2 variables, S and Gobo? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So let's just say I want to include another variable. Now the question is, can you add the variables? So I'm going to put down TP and I'm going to also include G as my variable. So this time I'm not going to find the quotient, I'm going to find the sum. So I'm going to take out the word quotient, I'm going to send the sum of T and P, and let's also include and this was a question, G. So I'm going to say the sum of T, P, and G is T plus E plus G. Right, so I'm going to run the program. Let's run the program. Compiling. Please, oh, I can't say 2. Please enter 2 numbers. I've got to actually enter in 3 numbers, right? So let me just stop the program. Click on the stop button on the top there. So I can't say please enter 2 numbers. I'm going to say please enter 3 numbers. So I'm going to say C in T, C in TPG. That's my initials. I guess you won't forget that now, would you? Run the program, compiling. Please enter 3 numbers. Let's enter in 3 space 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, and 2. So we know that the sum of 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. The sum of 3 and 5 and 2 is 10. Yay! Are you happy? Hello. Are you there? Come on. I'm going to post this in our WhatsApp group. So this was a question from, who asked that question? Can I put any number? Yay! All right, so the question that came up is, yes, you can. P. Shlongwa, please post the coding here on the chat block and the study guide. Can I put any number? Of course you can. Yes, you can. So there's the program. It says, please enter 3 numbers, T, P, and G. Those are my initials. And I posted it in for you. All right. So let's go back. Oh, where's the window you shared? Sharing is paused until you return to the shared window. Let's go back to the shared window. Right, T, P, and G. Any other questions? What questions do you have for me? Let me look at the chat. Another question. Sir, did you write numbers 3, 5, and 2? Yes, I did. Where's that now? 3, 5, and 2. So let me look at the program. Let's look at the program. Give me 5 minutes. Look at the program. What you want to check? Somebody muted me again. This is naughty now. Don't mute me, please. Then you can't hear what I have to say. All right, so the question is, can you include others? Yes, we can. But in programming, let's take it nice and slowly. We first have to crawl, then walk, then run. Okay? So I'll give you a minute or two for another question. Anybody with a question? There's another question. Sir, did you write numbers 3, 5, and 2? 3 plus 5. Yes, I did write that. So those are the values that I want to input. Next question says, please send me the link to the C++ compiler. Okay, the link to the C++ compiler, I'll post it in the group. Ah, there we go. It says onlinegdb.com. Let's post that to the group. So there's the online compiler, www.https://onlinegdb.com. And the language that we are dealing with is, what's the language? C++. Okay, cool. Let me post that in our WhatsApp group as well. Let's post that there. Let's see here. Here it is. Control V, done. Alrighty. So now they want to know if we can do things like add and multiply and divide. Yes, we can. This is maths. So I'm going to put down T plus P plus G, or I can say T divided by 2 plus P plus G multiplied by, now the multiply sign is the multiply by 10. Let's see if it'll take that. Let's run the program. Compiling. Now the question, someone asked me the question, did I enter in 3 numbers? Yes. So I'm going to enter in 10, and I'm going to enter in another number, which is 4, and another number, which is 2. Let's see what answer it gives me. Oh, the sum of 10, 4, and 2 is 29. That's not the sum. It actually did this calculation out here. So it took the value of 10 divided by 2, which is 5, plus the value of P, which is 4, plus 2 times 10, which is 20. So think of the rules in board maths. 2 times 20 is, sorry, 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. 24 plus, what is 10 divided by 2, which is 5, and the answer is 29. Oh, this looks like a nice program to put it in. And this looks like a nice program. So let's put this program into our WhatsApp group now. Let's do that. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to post it in our WhatsApp group. Right? Okay, there we go. There we go. It's in our WhatsApp group. Right? So now in the test, I'll ask you for things like, what will be the output of the program? Right? What will be the output of the program? Right? What will be the output of this program? So my question is, what is the output to the above program code? Right? Okay, any other questions? Any other questions for me? What questions do you have? What questions do you have? Sir, are we going to write a test or have an assignment based on what we're doing? Yes, you're going to have an assignment. Let's write that down. Yes, you will have a test. Yes, you will have an assignment. Yes, on all the work we are doing. Okay, what are the questions you have for me? Come on, any other questions? If you want your output to include decimals, who do you code that? Oh, I think you meant to say, how do you code that, right? Okay, that's going to be the next lesson. That's called floating point numbers. Like I said, I don't want to do too much with you. I want to take it nice and slow, right? Okay, I'm going to take it nice and slow. We'll do that in the next lesson. That's the next instruction. What happens if we have decimal values in there? Sir, do we add the values in the input compiler or the output code? Right. What do you mean by that? S. Majova. Do you want to ask that question for me? Unmute yourself and ask it. Go ahead. I'm listening. S. Majova, are you there? Are you there? Come on. S. Majova, the question is, do we add the values in the input compiler or in the output code? Now, I'm going to teach you in the next lesson where we store the answer in a variable. For now, all we're doing is we're playing around with values, and we're adding and multiplying and dividing values. All right? Yep, anybody? Okay, if there's no questions, what I'd like you to do is to access our WhatsApp group. And in our WhatsApp group, I'd like you to download the study guide. And I'd like you to also access the program codes and copy and paste the program codes in the online compiler. All right? Okay, while we're doing that, anybody wants to put on their video, and we'll take a quick photograph. And it's coming up to about 40 minutes. I'd like to stop my lecture right now. Yep. Anybody? Photograph time. Hello. I've got a question. So, do we add the numbers in the input code? Do we add the numbers in the input code? Let's see. Where's that question? Do we add the numbers in the input code compiler? Do we add them in the code? Right. When the compiler is working, after it finished run, and there's no mistakes, no errors, that's when we'll add the numbers in there. All right, when I say add, we are inputting the numbers into the compiler. And the compiler does the hard work. The compiler adds the numbers for us. We don't add the numbers, okay? Good question, S. Majora. All right, let's take a photograph and I'll post that into our WhatsApp group. And this serves as our register. And let me also download the register for us. Right, so I'm going to, where's all my participants? And let's download the register. Yay, okay, if there's no other questions, we'll end the lecture. All right. So let's stop the recording.